In this video, we're going to discuss this week some of the dark pools that we were looking at. We had mentioned that the 675 dark pool had come in and hasn't hit. We also have AI triggers at 669. We had a long trigger that triggered on Friday, so today is not a day, or Monday would not be a day you want to go long. But if 669 rejects, there are some downside abilities that we can look at for a quick short. We do have earnings that may or may not affect the market, and we do have CPI that may or may not be released this week, depending on the shutdown. So let's take a look at those. So our AI trigger for Friday was a long at 652.95. So, right under us actually was at 653. But once we saw this green candle, what we do on the 15-minute, we wait for the next green candle. So yeah, you have to wait out 15 minutes. We don't go below that, but we want to make sure that it's a confirmation, because this candle could have easily have been red. So you wait for the closing, and then our next confirmation, we take the long based on the AI model that said 665 was our first target, and 669 was, again, is still our second target long. Once we're above the 10 SMA, we're just running long, running stop losses. One of our stop losses was the 660.77 that we've been talking about. The next, it was a 665 that we did see a little bit of rejection right before the close, but the 664 held. So as long as we're above all these dark pools, we're still back on an uptrend. Obviously, we want to break out over all-time highs. That'll confirm with some of the monthly and weekly long-term triggers, which are 7,400. But we want to get there once we have dark pools. So what are we doing now at 665.73? We're just running stops at the open of the market on Monday. If you have options, if you have shares, and they trade 24 hours, you can just keep your risk managed. If we hit 669 or 670 and this rejects, this is not a bad area to head short to come back down, possibly with failed earnings, maybe some more news. If we get CPI, if it's under 3% and keep repeating it, it's very questionable, because all our AI models say it's going to be at 3%. Now, if the estimate is 3.1 and it comes under at 3%, you know that the algos will react as a positive, like an earnings beat, even though it is a higher print, right? So be very careful trading against on a short covering and an uptrend. But let's just say 670 rejects. You take your short back to the 665 pivot, back to the 660 pivot, back to 652 pivot, 650, and then we have a daily support at 642, but one level at a time. Let's just assume, for the argument, that 670 rejects, breaks under the 10 SMA, because the daily and the hourly are bearish, but we are short covering on the 15-minute. If we get anything under the 652, grab a little liquidity. You want to go long again, because we still have the new dark pool print at 675. Now, all of these lines that you see here, these are previous ones that we leave because they are support and resistance levels in the future. If they hold, it's a support. If it rejects, it's a resistance, right? They're there forever. Doesn't matter what year it is, doesn't matter what day it is. These become support and resistance for algos. But again, this is starting to look like an inverse head and shoulder. It could easily play out where it becomes, for example, a double top with this 668 rejection. But again, the AI model has us breaking up to the upside at around 669. It could definitely overshoot. It could overshoot to 674, which means everybody's covering. And then that's where I want to short again. 675, when there's no more dark pools, I want to take my low again, because the daily is bearish. But depending on your time frame, if you want to take small wins on this very, very tight consolidation, this is easy to trade, because if we hold a support, you're going on to a previous resistance. If this resistance fails, you take your short. We're range bound up until we break above the previous high of that 673. We break above the 673 area, we're going to the 7,400 long-term target. We stay under it. We keep shorting, because we have plenty of dark pools to the dark side. So if you like the content, subscribe, like, or comment below if you want intel on any particular tickers, or if you want to join our Discord, the link is in the description below.